Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and today is Tuesday, November the 5th, 2019. The tarot card for today is the Lovers. Boy, everybody's going to beat me up here today. First of all, this one comes to us from a deck that is quickly becoming one of my favorites. It's the Light Seers Tarot from artist Chris Donnelly. It is only recently shipped, and when I have more news on it for you as to its availability, I will let you know, because it's a quality deck with absolutely fantastic artwork, a must-have for your collection. So here we are for the third day in a row talking about choices and so much more. I have a few things to talk about here. Okay. First of all, let's just remind everyone, like we would forget, that Mercury is retrograde until November the 20th. Okay. And it's in the sign of Scorpio. And that in and of itself, when you lend it to especially like a love relationship, boy, this is going to make me digress because there's something else going on that I want to talk about here. Okay. But with Scorpio, it's very intense. It can be very sexual. It's very, not possessive is a good word, and also very secretive. So, wow. Think about all the things that are going on. Now, with Mercury retrograde, we often are looking over our choices, rethinking, redoing, regrouping. Okay, there's many a relationship that does not survive a Mercury retrograde, and of course the old rule of thumb is definitely not to begin one at this time. Depending upon where you are, if you really need to talk to a love interest today, I would suggest consulting a void of course moon calendar, because the moon will be in the daytime here, void of course in Sagittarius, void of course in Aquarius, and then in the evening moving into Pisces, which is a much nicer relationship kind of energy, but where there is sensitivity. So you will still need to be careful, but I think it can turn the romance up a notch or two if it's a relationship that you've been in for a while. Oh, how I digress. Let me talk about decisions here, because choices, this is actually a card of choices. And what tends to happen to many of us in life, and I know I was way too old when I finally figured it out and smacked myself in the head and said, oh my God, you keep doing this, right? We all have patterns in how we choose. And, when you're in it and you're doing it, you really don't often seeing it. So you may find yourself sitting there going, why does this keep happening to me? Yeah. So sit back and think about it. Go back over. Mercury retrograde is a good time to go over all those choices and to think about, how did you wind up here? How did whatever just happened to you turn out the way that it did? And I believe that you'll find that there are more similarities than there are differences in the criteria that you used in your choices. What I find interesting here is that it's not always that easy to choose what's in your best interest, as in to choose differently. You may shun the affection from the person who is the best for you. How many of you out there do that, right? You go for the bad boy, you go for the bad girl. You wonder why things don't work out. Okay, yeah, time and time again. And, this is definitely food for thought here today, because Mercury retrograde makes us look at all these things very, very deeply, okay? Let's back up to yesterday for a minute to talk about today, because not all relationships are love relationships either. Okay, there is definitely, we have that whole Mars square Pluto thing going on today, where a relationship can have that aggressive feel to it, where you really may want to lash out. Maybe you're angry with your boss. All right, today's not the day to do it. Okay, today is not the day to say what is on your mind. All right, boy, I'll tell you, there's all kinds of ways that I could talk about this card today. Mercury is retrograde for one thing, which means your words can be misconstrued. The moon is void of course all during the day, which means your words can be misconstrued. Your communication can just totally go awry. So don't go there, okay? Step back, leave it be, all right? Make a conscious choice to not be a part of it. I have one more thing I want to talk about today. I know I've been talking for a while here, but this may actually be the most important. There is a quincunx today. We had one back on September 19th, but today is in much different territory, all right? Void moon, Mercury retrograde, you name it, and it is a quincunx with Venus, the planet of love and money, with Uranus, the planet of shock and surprise. Now, if you're the one in a relationship who has the ability to say, oh, okay, whatever, and be cool when someone else is acting totally erratic, then you may be able to keep this under control. But with Uranus, things are just totally not anticipated. And, depending upon the kind of day that you're having, you just might be shaking your head, or you might be the one, with the erratic behavior. There's definitely so many ways that this can go. So just be on the lookout for people who are not acting like themselves, and give them the space to get over it, all right? If you don't have to live in the same household, it may be easier, because they might need a day or two, and this will subside. So what's today? Today's Tuesday. I say by Thursday, you're probably good. So just give them space and let it be. Now, before I sign off, I want to remind you, if you want to hear these at the soonest possible time, to give you the heads up for the day, follow me on Podbean, download their free app. That's where you'll find my podcast. It's also across all other podcast platforms that are available to you. So I want to thank you all very much for being here. I'll see you here again tomorrow, and as always, have a great day.